Hey guys, Wicked here, welcome to a new CSR2 video. In this video, I'll be giving you guys my most comprehensive guide yet when it comes to live racing CSR2. How to pick a good car for live racing, and how to win more live races effectively. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Now this video is going to focus on my 2024 M5 sedan. As you can see by the mileage, this car has a lot of miles. I've used it a lot in live racing, and for good reason, being that this is a good live racer. But before we even look at that, we have to look at a car that's not good at live racing, so I can illustrate the difference between a car that's good and a car that's not good at live racing. So how I determine this car is not good at live racing? First of all, like an earlier video I highlighted, fit stage 3 of everything. All 7 upgrades need to be at stage 3, and at this point we have access to 2 of the values for tuning. So what we'll do is play with nitrous, it doesn't seem to do much. Tire pressure barely increases the evo, so all the tuning in is only nearly 1100, so it's not going to be so good. So what we'll do next is fit stage 4 transmission. At stage 4 transmission, I have another tuning value to play with. So you can see moving to the left, it increases a bit, ever so slightly. So this car is not going to be good. As you can see, it dipped back down, so all stage 3 except transmission stage 4, this car is not going to be good because the evo barely jumps. If we compare that to my M5 sedan, things are a completely different story. So what I'll do is do the exact same thing, fit stage 3 of everything. As you can see, when I fit every stage 3 upgrade, the evo is about the same, a bit over 1000. But with this car, if I were to play with nitrous, you see the evo jumps, and if I play with tire pressure, the evo jumps even more. And this is an all stage 3 build only. What I'll do next is I'll fit stage 4 transmission onto the car. And when I fit stage 4 transmission and I have another tuning value, I can basically play with transmission. As you can see, the evo jumps even more. So at this point, I have a option. I can fit stage 6s and see how much the evo jumps, which is a recommended thing, or just take the car into live racing as is. I recommend fitting stage 6s because most tier 5s that are going to show potential like this will benefit even more. So by fitting stage 4 transmission and body, which are the 2 big boys when it comes to stage 6s, you see the evo jumps. And at this point, remove turbo, intake, and engine from the tune. So as a result, the PP gets reduced and the evo jumps. Because usually, when it comes to live racing CSR2, you don't need engine, turbo, and intake. Some cars need engine, but that's very rare. Most cars benefit by just having stage 6 transmission and body, stage 3 tire, stage 2 nitrous, and no engine, turbo, and intake, and the tune will be as is. So going to dyno, as you can see, my car dyno is 10.355. I'll run the car to show you guys what this car can actually run, which is a bit quicker. So as you can see, this car has a special launch. We launch at 5000 RPM, shift to second, and shift normally the rest of the way. And that's how you drive this car. Okay, this car ran a 10.148. So this car can run around 200 milliseconds quicker than what the computer actually thinks it can run. Which this will be a, how do I say? It'll be a trick up your sleeve called dyno beating, which I'll get into later. What you need to focus on now is that 10.355 runtime, because that is how fast the computer expects my car to run on average. And I'll wait for one of these Supra players to challenge me, because I don't want to race a bot. I want to race an actual person to give you some insight as to how fast my car can really run. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, one of them challenged me, and we'll race him. Now he's in the new Toyota GR Supra from John's Tuner Pit. It's not a very good tier 5 live racer unless you stack stage 6s. So I assume his isn't all maxed out because he's a new player, and we'll run him and see how fast I need to run to win. As you can see, I run slower and still win. And this is why I make a big deal out of having low PP and high EVO, and that's why I went through the lengths of experimenting of different cars just to find this out. As you can see, my car dynos 10.355, but I didn't need to run 10.355 to win. I ran at 10.5, and my opponent ran 10.773. And this is what makes low PP, high EVO such a big deal. Your car at that point is lobbying so well that your opponents run way slower than what you can run. And as a result, it's easy wins all around, except if you challenge someone with a very well-tuned car or a dyno beater. So we'll race this guy as well. He's in a Mustang Dark Horse, which at this point is not a very competitive car, because at this point, tier 5s are taking over when they're at partial builds like mine. And again, I ran at 10.5, he ran at 10.6, and boom, I still won. And yes, this is all low PP, high EVO, and what makes it so attractive. Let's talk about dyno beating next, because dyno beating is not necessary 99% of the time, but there are situations where you want to run your car all out. And that's when, if 200k is on the line, if your opponent raises a huge bet like 200k and you want to win and you have to run all out, by all means do it. But keep in mind that this might get your car bumped. And what I mean by a car that gets bumped is that it ends up in a lobby that's quicker than what the car originally lobbied in. And as a result, you have to go through the process of down bumping your car, which is very boring and time consuming. So try to prevent running under dyno unless you absolutely need to. And if you have to, keep it far and few between. Maybe beat dyno once every 20 or so races and you'll be good. Other than that, please try to keep your car above dyno so you're running slower, so the game doesn't track your car as being faster than what it really is. So you can just keep it as a little secret and only whip it out when you absolutely need to. So that's bumping your car. And when it comes to live racing, even if you don't beat dyno, there are times where your car will get bumped anyway. And how can you prevent your car from being bumped? It's quite simple actually. At the end of a race, click the downshift button. Downshift just enough to win, but still run above your dyno. So you might notice in the races that I did against these guys, even though I could run all out, I don't. What I do is I slow down so my car doesn't run up under its dyno. So as a result, my car is safe and the game doesn't track that I'm running quicker than what I can really run. So that's it. You just need to slow down by downshifting. It can take a bit of practice to do because this isn't for everybody, downshifting. But all in all, it's a good habit to have. So practice downshifting with your car in live races, and sooner or later, you get the hang of it. So you can downshift just enough to win, but not enough to lose. And going back to live racing, why does low PV, high EVO work, basically? To make things easy for you, I did some testing. To reduce your car, if your car is upgraded by 1 pp, it will make your car run about 0.033 seconds quicker than what it can run without that pp. But if your car is upgraded by 1 evo versus its previous tune, it only makes your car run 0.002 to 0.0025 seconds quicker than what it can run without that evo point. But here's the thing. 1 pp increases your matchmaking score proportionally. So 1 pp, one matchmaking score. But when it comes to evo, it takes about 15 evo to make up the performance 1 pp grants you. So at that point, those 15 evo points don't have the same value that 1 pp does. So as a result, you're squeezing the same amount of performance from a different avenue, being your evo rather than your pp. So as a result, your car lobbies better. And I liken this to my lunchbox analogy that I used in my very first video, being that if you have a lunchbox, you generally want to fill it up as much as you can. So if, let's say, you put an apple in your lunchbox, you can maybe put 2 apples, and you can squeeze them because apples are solid. But if you were to put something like a sponge cake inside, you can easily squeeze maybe 6 or 7 sponge cakes in the same lunchbox. So that's how you can get more out of less, if you get what I'm trying to say. So instead of you using PP to get your performance in CSR2, you get your EVO. So as a result, you're basically doing my lunchbox analogy by squeezing every bit you can into a confined space and getting the most out of it. And that's how come low PP and high EVO works, because you're basically minimizing your upgrades and maximizing your performance, which is basically how you get to this point CSR2. As you can see in the background, I'm basically riding slower than my 10.355 dyno, and I'm still winning. Now, I could go on doing this for the rest of the night, but I find that this is, I would say, enough to demonstrate my point. So I'll head back to my garage and basically do a quick recap as to everything before I end it off. And the first thing you need to do is experiment on different cars. Not every car is going to be a good live racer, so you need to trial and error with different cars. Do what I did by fitting stage 3 of everything and stage 4 transmission, and see how much the EVO goes up by. If you did all that and the EVO is barely over 1,000, that car is not going to be a good live racer. But if you do all that and the EVO reaches maybe 1.7 to 1.8k or even more, then you know that's going to be a good live racer. So at that point, what you can do is fit stage 6 transmission and stage 6 body, and take out engine, turbo, and intake. Don't forget to fit all your fusion parts on your fitted parts to maximize performance, and see how much the EVO jumps. And don't forget to play with tuning. So when you tune your car with all those upgrades installed and EVO reaches over 2,000, you know that that car is going to be good. So the last thing you need to do is play with different shift patterns. Different cars launch differently, shift differently, and have different times where you should activate the nitrous. So as a result, it can vary from car to car, depending when you should activate nitrous, when you should launch, when you should shift. So that also requires some trial and error and trying to find out what works best for your car. And for dyno beating, because some cars allow for dyno beating, not every car is going to be a dyno beater. Most cars will run at their dyno or a few milliseconds under. But if you have a car like my M5, you can easily run around, I would say, 200 milliseconds under dyno, which is a nice bonus to have, but certainly not necessary unless you race for 200k a lot. So with that said, that wraps up my video when it comes to how to determine if a car is good at live racing, what you should do in live racing to maximize your car's competitiveness, and how low PP high EVO works, and also controlling your car. I hope my video has been helpful to you guys, and if this video helped you in any way, do consider leaving a like, a comment, and even consider subscribing to my channel, because I put out videos like this to help you guys get better in CSR2. And with that said, thank you so much for watching. Take very good care of yourselves, and I'll see you in my next video.